And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey folks, I'm Tom Vasel, and today we're taking a look at a little game called KAWA, a game about flow. And this game is almost like a post, like a song title. I'm like, I'm floating down the river like petals upon the water. Yeah, that's what this game is. It's literally a game about the flow down the river, and as you drift, petals going down. Doesn't sound like much of a game, right? Well, take a look. In each game, you're going to be one of these flowers, dropping petals to go down as you float down the river, trying to run into your own petals or other people's petals. So you're going to set up a random grid here of 16 tiles, and these tiles show you how the river flows. And your flowers are going to be floating down. You're going to start with a turn order, and players are just going to be rotating around this lily pad here. And you'll place your flowers out at these starting positions. You're trying to get the best starting position. And then in reverse turn order, each flower is going to float down the river. Now, when you float down the river, the first thing you do before you do that is you can switch any two adjacent tiles. So maybe I do that. Then let's say I'm the red flower here. I would float down, so I would go one. This one flows right to the next one. This one flows up diagonally into that whirlpool. That whirlpool floats diagonally off the board, which goes to this one. And then it goes off. Now, after I use the whirlpool always rotates after you go through it. So it's going to go back and forth like that. And then the next player is going to go. Anytime you go into a spot that has a petal, or a double petal, because you have the opportunity to drop a double petal on the board, then that person gets 1 or 2 points for each petal that they have there, even if it's you. And you'll keep track of your points on a little card here. After everyone has gone, then each person is going to be removing petals, so the person in position 1 has to remove 3. So I might say I'm going to remove 1, 2, 3. I'll leave my double petal there. This person removes 2 petals. This person removes 1 petal. And then everything moves clockwise around the board, and we'll do it again. And you're just trying to score points. But also, before doing it again, you're going to take these, shuffle these, and essentially put them at the beginning. So the river is constantly changing, although petals that are on the board will stay in their spots. This is not it. This is kind of the very, very basic setup. Usually you throw in 2 or so special tiles. You can see these different ones here. Like this is a crab, for example. There's a little rules card that tells you use which side of the crab you want to use. And then it says, when a player reaches the river edge, if there's a tile adjacent to the crab, swap it with the crab. Otherwise, flip it over. So the crab's just kind of swapping tiles, moving around the board. That's basically the game. There's going to be 4 rounds, and after 4 rounds, whoever has the most points, as indicated here, is the winner. And like I said, there's lots of different special tiles that you can use. The art on the cards is really well done. It's very nice. It's peaceful. Here's this one here actually splits your flow into 2 different directions. The whole thing's kind of peaceful. The crab's just messing with the current. The sword splits it. There's no eating of stuff here. You're just a petal floating down. The cards are good quality. They each have a little green tip in the corner, which shows you which direction to put them when you're doing the setup. There's a little bit of fiddliness as you shuffle everything and move it around. And I would have maybe preferred that this be 1 piece instead of 4, but it's not a big deal. It needs to be that so everything can fit in this small box. There are 2 sets of rules. You have setup, which is 1 page, and then you have the how to play, which is another. But again, not a big deal. And I have to say, I'm a big fan of having the rules for the different cards, the abandoned katana, the catfish, on a card. So if you're playing with that, you just put it on a table. If someone says, how does the catfish work again? They can just look at the card and see. Very, very handy. KAWA is kind of a weird style game. I mean, it is a game in which it's supposed to be relaxing, and it is, but it's also mind crunchy. You sit there and think, okay, if I switch these 2, I'm going to move up here and do this. So let me talk a little bit about the flow of the game. At the beginning of the game, there's a turn order placement. And this really matters, whether it's 4 players or two or three. But whoever goes first puts their flower out first, but they move their flower last. So you want to get into a good position. Also, being first and moving last means you might be forced to hit other people's petals. So you're trying not to do that. Now, how good is that? How smart are you to move all this stuff? I don't know. I don't think I'm very good at this game at all. We did play this live quite a few months ago on the Dice Tower, so you can go back and look for it. I think it was during our marathon when our Kickstarter ended, and it was really intriguing, and it's a game I sat and thought about for a while. And I don't know that I'm going to get better at it, but I also kind of enjoy it. It's a funky game. It's a little bit to wrap your mind around. Like, you're moving the petals down. I'm going to drop petals. I'm going to take some petals off. The last row petals always come off. So I want to move this to this spot to flow into here. And then you have to work around whatever the special abilities are. And you're just trying to score points. And I'm amused by it. So, this is a game that I'm giving I don't normally talk about my number ratings and reviews, but I'm giving this one a 7. It's probably the lowest 7 you can get. Because this is not a game I'm going to rush out to play all the time. But if you put it on the table and say, let's try it out, I'd be like, yeah, I remember this game. It's interesting. And it's a small pocket-sized box. I mean, well, not pocket-sized quite, but it's small enough. And it does something that I've seen no other game really do. It does so without antagonism, but at the same time, there is that. I'm deliberately trying to drop petals and force you to move over those on your flow. That's the whole point of this game. And it's not very long. It says 30 to 60 minutes in here. If you're taking 60 minutes on this, folks, you are really dragging it out. I'd say it's closer to 30 minutes, almost on the dot, with the 4 rounds, setting things up, moving stuff around. So it's a mixture of gentle zen mixed with some crunchy, where am I going to go this turn? And it's very pretty to look at. This is almost kind of like a gift game in a sense, like someone who has everything. This is the one they probably don't have. But I also enjoyed my playthroughs of it. So that's KAWA. Check it out. I'm Tom Vasel. We'll see you next time. Dice Tower Judgment approved and quirky.